Hi guys, so this is where you're going to turn on your subtitles for the video. And if you want to join my membership, you can get free access to all my PDFs. And I also like to show you just a few examples of what I sell in my merch shop. I appreciate your support, and back to the video. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, I put bells on mine. This is the little Christmas tree. So last year I made the little red truck. And I said that I would do the little Christmas tree at Christmas time. Actually, it wasn't last year. I think it was earlier this year. I made the little red truck. And I said that I would do at Christmas time the Christmas tree for the back of the little red truck, as you saw in the thumbnail. So this is the little Christmas tree. Now you can decorate it any way you want. I just put these little jingle bells on it. But the only thing we're going to be doing today is the actual building of the Christmas tree. This is stuff. There's no cone inside. So, and it fits perfectly on the back, as you saw by the thumbnail. So let's jump right into this. Get your colors, and I'll meet you right back here. So I am using a 5mm hook. Not necessarily needs to be tight. It kind of, because we're going to be doing the puff stitch. So, which is an easy stitch. Don't let it freak you out. So it doesn't necessarily need to be tight, but I'm doing mine in the green and white that you already saw. I'm just going to do it again. So this tree measures at 6 inches tall. This yarn I'm using here is a Craft Smart. The color is Ivy, and it calls for a 5.5. So I'm just going to use my 5. And then this is the same thing. It's a Craft Smart. It's the exact same thing. Calls for a 5.5. So I'm just using the 5. Just so it's tight. There's no holes, even though I'm using the puff stitch. So we're going to start with a magic ring of 6 single crochets. So because it's an amigurumi, there's no slip stitching, there's no chaining, so you will need a stitch marker. So 6 single crochets. If you can't do a magic ring, do a chain 2 and put 6 single crochets into that first stitch. Because we want a point on the top of this tree, we're building from the top down. So because we want a point on the top of this tree, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each of these 6 stitches. So after your first stitch, that's where your marker goes. So you can kind of pop this around. Be sure that magic ring is pulled closed. So your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and an increase. So that's 1 single crochet. Then your next stitch gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space, and repeat. Your next round is going to be done in the back loops only. We're going to be doing a bit of this throughout because we want to, when we reattach with the white, we're going to be using the front loops to do it. So this round is going to be done in the back loops only, and it's going to be 1 single crochet, and you should have 9 stitches. So 1 single crochet in each of the 9 stitches in the back loops only. So these leaves all these front loops for us to get into later with our white. I'm just going to tuck this tail into the top of my Christmas tree. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to do a normal row and then a back loop row. All your increases are going to be done in the full stitch. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. That's number 1. That's number 2. And then the next stitch gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. And repeat. So for the next round, you're going to do 1 single crochet in each of these back loops. So your next round is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase, and this is done in the full stitch. It's number 1. That's 3 single crochets and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. And repeat. So your next round is going to be done in the back loops again, and it's 1 single crochet in each of what should be 15 stitches. Your next round is going to be 4 single crochets and an increase, and this will bring it up to 18 stitches. That's number 1. And then your increase. So we are going to have to stuff as we go. Especially here because of the point. But I certainly don't want you to overstuff because you don't want to see the white at all through here. So your next round is going to be done in the back loops only. 1 single crochet in each of these 18 stitches. Alright, so you get the gist of what we're doing. All of our increased rows are followed up by a back loop, 1 single crochet in each stitch. So from here on out, I am going to be putting up my pause screens with both those rows in them so that you know what to do. So you should understand the pattern that we're doing. We're building the whole tree like this, and then when we come back, like I said, we'll use the front loops to put our puff stitches on, and then the white. So that's what we're using the front loops for. So you can't skip out on this back loop deal. You have to do it if you want the tree to look like this. So your next round is going to be 5 single crochet increase. You're going to see this pause screen pop up, and it'll have round 10 and 11. Well, it won't say round 10 and 11, but you'll see it say 5 single crochet increase. Then I'll show you the back. After that will be the back loops only. So that's what's going to happen from here on out, just to kind of keep the video a little bit shorter. So this round is going to be 5 single crochets and an increase, and this will bring it up to 21 stitches. That's 5 single crochets and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. So your next round is going to be 6 single crochets and an increase. And this will bring you up to 24 stitches, followed up by a back loop row. That's number 1. That's 6 single crochets, and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. Next round is going to be 7 single crochets and an increase, and this will bring it up to 27 stitches. So your next round is going to be 8 single crochets and an increase. This will bring you up to 30 stitches. Your next round is going to be 9 single crochets and an increase, and this will bring it up to 33 stitches.
Motion detected.
So I am done. We start decreasing now. I want you to stuff this because we're going to start decreasing to close it up. So if you wanted to switch to brown, you can switch to brown. I didn't. I just didn't worry about it. I did for my other tree. If you're looking for an actual Christmas tree done with a cone, I did do one. So it's probably up on my channel. Or it's coming. I do check my video coming in December to see when it's going to be posted, but I did 2 trees, one for the truck and then one just a regular tree to, you know, set on a table or whatever with a cone. So you'll still have plenty of time to put more in there. So we're going to do a 9 single crochet decrease, just because that's the increase we ended with. But we're going to do decrease after decrease after decrease. So I'm going to do invisible decreases. But I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's get your marker in there. So that's number 1. That's 9 single crochets. And then my invisible decreases are going to be done in the front loops only. So go into the first front loop, pop around and go into the second front loop. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through those 2 loops, and then yarn over and finish the stitch. So that's an invisible decrease. It cuts down on the gapping that you would normally get. So because I'm doing back-to-back decreases and they're all going to kind of be in the same spot, I don't want all that gapping. So just continue with your 9 single crochet decrease. Your next round is going to be 8 single crochets and a decrease, and this will bring you down to 27 stitches. That's number 1. That's 8 single crochets, and then my front loop decrease again, and repeat. Your next round is going to be 7 single crochets and a decrease. This will bring you down to 24 stitches. Your last round is going to be 6 single crochets and a decrease, and this brings you down to 21 stitches. And that's where we cinch. So 6 single crochets and then your decrease. So you can fasten off. You need a bit of a cinching tail. So we need to stuff it, but we're cinching it starting. This is the end of the Christmas tree. Does that make sense? Anyway, finish stuffing it and then I'll talk to you about that. So once you have it stuffed the way you want it, so this is going to be somewhat a little bit flatter on the bottom because we're doing a big hole cinch. So go in the front loop, and out the next front loop, just like that. Should have used a different colored needle so you can see. In the front loop, out the next front loop, all the way around. So once you get all the way around, you can pull this closed. So if you feel that it's kind of wrinkly in here, which mine is, then you need to put some more stuffing in. So just open this hole back up. I don't want wrinkles. And just tuck it in underneath the ledge. You know what I mean by ledge? Just around here. Just so that you don't get those wrinkles. It just means it's not stuffed enough. That's why you get wrinkles. But I don't want wrinkles. I want it to sit at least somewhat flat so it sits up on its own. For the most part, this is going to just be sitting on the back of a truck, because I designed it for the back of the red truck. So if you haven't done my red truck video yet, then you're going to have to, because it's pretty cool. And it's kind of a popular Christmas thing. So I go both ways when I cinch, when I do my knots for my holes. I do go both ways. I got some poly fiber in there, but anyway, doesn't matter. So I'll just kind of press up and put that little bit of the stuffing back up into the tree. So it should sit up on its own. And then this here, if you switch to brown, would be brown, but I didn't really care. So all these back loops that you see, these are front loops, These are all the front loops that we're going to get into with our green and white, or whatever colors you choose. I just did green and white because the tree's green, number one, so the puff stitch is supposed to be the, oh sorry, I'm going to weave this a bit. The puff stitch is supposed to be the branches, and then the white is supposed to just kind of be snow on top of those branches. That's the whole point of the white and green. I'll show you the other one. So these are the branches, and then this is supposed to be snow. It's just kind of sitting on it. That's why I did that. So we work from the bottom up. So put your Christmas tree so it's facing the points away from you. And you're going to make a slip knot with your green, and then you're going to reattach. So the puff stitch is whatever stitch you choose, triple, double, half double. Now I'm going to be doing different ones because they get smaller all the way up, right? So this first row is going to be triples. We're going to put 5 triples into one stitch, one front loop. We're going to pull up loops anyway. So we're going to put 5 triples into this front loop. So yarn over twice, go into your stitch. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through 2. So that's what makes it a triple, because you do it 3 times. So yarn over twice, go back into the same stitch. We're going to do 5 of these in here. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. So that's 2 triples, 3 more. So now that I've got all my triples, I'm going to pull this loop up and I'm going to leave it. I'm going to come over here to the first stitch I made. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th stitch that I made. I'm going to go into that stitch. I'm going to put my hook back into that loop I just left. I'm going to yarn over. Try to kind of keep it loosey-goosey. And I'm going to pull through. And I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to come over and I'm going to skip a stitch. Well, sorry, I'm going to go into this next stitch and I'm going to put a single crochet. So you see how it turns it into a great big bobble? It's just one great big circle. And then I'm going to skip this next stitch and I'm going to go back into here and I'm going to do the same thing. 5 triple crochets. So that's my 5 triples. So I'm going to pull out of that loop. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to come back to my 5th stitch. This 5th stitch is small. If you're struggling to get into it, just go into your 4th stitch. It's not a huge deal. So just kind of keep these loops open a little bit for when you pull through. Secure it with this chain 1. Come down here, find your next front loop, so you're going to have to push this ball over a little bit and do a single crochet. Skip the next stitch and repeat it all over again. So because we're just coming off a single crochet, that's why this last stitch is awkward. And like I said, you can just go into the 4th one. It won't make a difference. So count back to your 5th stitch. Hook back onto your loop. Keep it loose. Chain 1. So when your bobble happens, it's because you've reached around, gone into the next one, and done a single crochet. kind of twists your bobble and makes it a bobble. So these are actually, there's two different names for these. Puff stitch is what I use. Skip one and then in this next stitch. So just keep repeating this all the way down. So I've come all the way around and I have to skip one and go into this stitch. Then it's only going to be a skip one to my next stitch. So I'm just going to do this one a little bit smaller. Instead of doing 5 triples, I'm just going to do 4 triples. Just so it doesn't seem so overly squishy. But you can do whatever you want. If you want to do 5, if you don't think it's that big of a deal. It's not a big deal, but... And then I'm going to find this last little stitch to do my single crochet. And then I'm going to go in here to the loop I started in to fasten off. So I'm going to make that super tight. I'm going to tie these two in a knot, double knot. My puff stitch collapsed. There we go. And then I'm just going to weave one down and one up. Hide the knot. So yeah, we fasten off every time just to make our life easier. So that is our puff stitches. So we get to see the bottom part and not the top part. You can do it either way, I suppose. It's just be awkward to build up this way. So our white is different. It's a completely different stitch. So let's reattach somewhere with our white, preferably in the same area. So this is kind of where I ended. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. It's hard to see where I ended. Yeah, I think it was here. So I guess where your jog is. So you got a little bit of a jog because we work in a spiral. So anyway, reattach in the next front loop. I'm going to reattach with a single crochet. So using white for this round, in this stitch, I'm going to do one single crochet, even though I just attached with that. You're still going to do another single crochet. So one single crochet, and then you're going to do a half double in that same front loop. And then you're going to do a double. Then you're going to do a triple. You're going to chain 2 and picot. So come down and pick up these 2 pieces. Yarn over, pull through, and slip stitch. And now into your next front loop. So PDF users, if you're following a PDF, you'll see that that's where the bracket ends. That's because that's one loop. The next set of brackets that's going into your next front loop. So you're going to do a triple into your next front loop. Then you're going to do a double, then a half double, and then a single in that same front loop. You're going to skip one and repeat the whole process so that you get, again, the back side of the snow leaf type thing. So skip one, and into the next front loop, you're going to start with a single crochet, half double, whoops, half double, double, triple, chain 2, you're going to picot, and then in the next front loop you're going to start with a triple, double, half double, and a single. That's your next. So continue this all the way around, skip one, and repeat it. And I will meet you on the other side. So I've come back around. I've got 3 stitches left, but I'm not doing the whole skip one and making it. I'm going to actually just stretch this over. I'm going to go back into the front loop that I started with, and I'm going to fasten off. So I'm just going to kind of stretch it across. And I did the same thing. I tied a knot and then just kind of weaved it all down. So then that's what you get. So we obviously get smaller and smaller the higher we go. So this next puff stitch that we're going to do, we do in double crochets. We do the same one. We do 5 double crochets. So again, reattach in the front loops wherever you find my start. With a single crochet. And then you're going to put 5 double crochets into this front loop, all the same one. So that's my 5 doubles. So I'm going to count back to my 5th stitch. And then I'm going to pick this loop up again. Keeping it loosey-goosey a little bit. And I'm going to pull through and secure it. And same thing, I'm going to pop around, get my next front loop. And I'm going to do a tight single crochet. Skip one and do it all over again. I'm going to put my pause screen up and I will see you on the other side. So I am on my last puff stitch. So again, I'm going to go into the first loop that I started in to fasten off. So I got all those puff stitches done. So with our white row is going to be different this round. We're not doing any triples. So find your spot to reconnect. Reattach with a single crochet. So we're going to do one single crochet. We're going to do a half double crochet. Then we're going to do a double. Then we're going to chain 2 and do our picot. In the next stitch, in our next front loop, we're going to do a double, a half double, and a single. Skip the next stitch and repeat that all over again. Single, half double, double, chain 2, picot, in the next stitch you're going to do double, half double, single. Skip one. So I've come all the way back around. I have 4 front loops. 1, 2, 3, 4 front loops left. I'm gonna skip. I want to pull these together again, so I'm gonna skip one. I'm gonna put 1 single crochet in there, skip 1, go into this first stitch I was in to do my fasten off. Just because I don't want it to be too squishy. So I'm going to tie these two just as usual. It gets quicker and quicker as we go. So go back to where you jog. And in this round we're only going to be doing 4 double crochets in each stitch for our puff stitch. So make your slip knot, reattach, so 4 double crochets inside this loop. That's my 4 double crochets. I'm going to pull out my loop, count back to my 4th stitch, put my loop back on, pull through, secure, do your 1 single crochet in your next loop, skip 1, and repeat. So I'll reattach with your white. Pull down on your puff stitch. Sorry. Pull down on your puff stitch to find your proper loop. So for this one we're going to do 1 single crochet. Then I want you to do 2 half doubles, chain 1, picot, and then in the next loop you're going to do 2 half doubles and a single. Skip 1, repeat. 1 single crochet, 2 half doubles, chain 1, picot, next loop, 2 half doubles and a single. So I came all the way over to as far as I could. I didn't stretch it across or anything. So the next row is going to be done in half doubles, 4 half doubles in each loop for your puff stitch. So 4 half doubles. Skip 1, 4 half doubles. So this is the end of your puff stitches. You won't be doing them anymore. We're going to do one more row of the snow if you wanted to. It is the very tippy top of the tree. It's completely up to you. So you can decorate this tree as whatever you want. I put jingle bells on mine. I just bought them at the dollar store. But you can do whatever you want. So last row, I'm not doing decorations with you at all. So the last row, pull down your puff stitch to find your front loop. Reattach. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then we're going to do a half double. We're going to chain 1 and do a picot. The picot just puts the point on it, in case anyone's wondering. And then in your next loop, you're going to do a half double and a single. Skip 1, do it again. And that is it. So I'm going to come around, do my front loop. And there we have it. Our Christmas tree for the back of our red truck. So like I said, you could decorate this any way you want. I was just doing the tree for you because I had promised the Christmas tree for the back of the truck. So there you have it. I hope you like it. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.